Okay, so I'll do the roll call for the CAB policy and budget meeting for Friday, September 23rd, 2022. Ozzy Carter,
Present.
Lila Blanchard,
Present.
and Reverend Van Hook.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum. Board members present.
Thank you for that roll call, and I'll proceed with opening the meeting up and welcoming everyone with introductions and announcements. But prior to that, I would like to kind of toggle back and remind us why we are here as the Policy and Budget Standing Committee and our purposes. And there are 6 elements to that. And here are some, but not all of our responsibilities are: 1, to work collaboratively with CAB related work groups and committees; 2, develop a policy agenda and make a recommendation as it relates to reentry programs, services, and population; 3, assist CAB with developing an annual budget request; 4, analyze and make recommendations to improve departmental budget development reporting and analysis; 5, identify financial needs for training and consultation for the CAB; 6, other responsibilities and functions that advance the committees and the CAB's purpose. We are grateful for those who are members of this committee and so appreciated for their time and commitment. So now we're going to proceed to get to work. And so now we'll proceed with our introductions. Well, we've had roll call, and I'm pretty sure that most of us on this call are familiar with each other and how to proceed in using communications, wanting to make a comment or what have you, raising your hand and so forth. So first of all, we're welcoming everyone. We'd like introductions. Is that the next thing, Monique? For individuals to introduce themselves specifically?
If you, let's go ahead and just go through the formality. So Ozzy, you can introduce yourself.
Ozzy Carter, a CAB member, my 2nd year as the Policy and Budget Vice Chair.
Lila.
Good morning, everyone. This is Lila Blanchard, and this is my 3rd year on the CAB, and I take very general notes for the Policy and Budget Subcommittee meeting. So I'll be attending to that during this meeting, and I'm also on the Programs and Services Subcommittee, and this is my 3rd year on the CAB. Thank you.
And Reverend Van Hook.
I am Reverend Julius Van Hook, and this is my 1st year. I work in community chaplaincy as well as institutional juvenile chaplaincy, and just working in community development and looking forward to learning more, getting more acclimated with this board.
Okay, and then our guest speaker, Charles Brown, you can introduce yourself. We can come back to you, Charles. You're muted. Crawford, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Crawford Carpenter. I'm a CAB member. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll go ahead. Oh, okay, Charles Brown, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Charles Brown. I am a business services representative and reentry coordinator with the Workforce Development Board of Contra Costa County. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Jill Ray.
Hi there, Jill Ray with Office of Supervisor Candace Anderson.
Okay, and then I'm Monique Tate with the Office of Reentry and Justice.
Thank you so much for those introductions, and we'll move to announcements. Are there any announcements?
Yes, I actually have an announcement. The Workforce Development Board, in partnership with the City of Antioch and the Urban League of the San Francisco Bay Area, is hosting a career and resource fair event, a hiring fair event, next Wednesday, September 28th at the Antioch Community Center, located at 4703 Lone Tree Way. A main landmark there is the Diablo, what is it called? Deer Valley High School, right across the street from there in Antioch. And so the career fair is going to start at 10 and it will end at 1. And of course, it's free and open to the public, to the community. And I've shared it throughout the AB 109 distribution network that we have, but just wanted to announce that. And right now we have about 240 plus people who've already registered through Eventbrite. And so if you have any job seekers or know any family members or community constituents that's looking for work or different resources, this will be a great opportunity for them to attend this event. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you so much. Any other announcements? Hearing none, we'll move to public comment on any item under the jurisdiction of the Community Advisory Board and not on this agenda.
This might not be the right spot for this, but I was just hopeful maybe when we review, because I'm sorry, I'm not public, a member of the board, but I'm hoping during the review of the work plan, we can talk about the budget and, where that's at and where that's, where that's at in the process. I thought that that might be on the agenda today, but that's the only comment that I have.
Thank you. Well, I would like to make a public comment that's not specifically on this agenda, but something that I've been gatekeeping for since I began on CAB. And that was a request for additional funding that had been made initially to us, to the full CAB. I think the date was November 16th in 2020, when Stand Together made a presentation for additional funding, that funding to be allocated to the public defenders for immigration services for individuals who not specifically or necessarily having criminal charges against them. But it's a convoluted request, and I've kind of been following that process. And I went to the Board of Supervisors meeting on Tuesday, September 13th, and was really very happy to be there. That was the first time that I attended a Board of Supervisors meeting in person and able to actually fill out a comment and make a comment, in spite of the fact that things had progressed to where my comment wasn't specifically needed, but I wanted to use my voice as a community member to remind the supervisors and those who were there the real purpose of AB 109 funding. And as a CAB member, although I wasn't representing CAB, I consider myself a gatekeeper, and part of my responsibilities is to show up and be on task for things that I'm passionate about. And I'm really passionate about the funding, because I know how valuable these programs are and how valuable our constituents and community-based organizations are, and how much the funding and more funding is needed. And I appreciate our supervisors who were able to be on task and follow that whole process after it left the CAB. And it was a 2-year process. And they did decide that AB 109 funding would not be used, and the specifics for that board of supervisors was to determine if there were any other fundings that might be made available. So at that particular time, there were no fundings made available, and I'm not really sure where that's going to end, but the referral was for them to seek other creative funding to help facilitate the needs. And that is what I'm reporting on today.
Thank you so much, Ozzy, for bringing that up. I am curious about, sorry, let me just get my curiosity in line here on this Friday morning. If there was any conversation about the existing funds that are already used for Stand Together that come from AB 109, or if this was solely a conversation about the increased amounts that they were asking for. And I don't, oh, and it looks like Jill has her hand up.
Thank you, Jill.
I'll let Ozzy respond to you because she may know something before I make my comments.
Well, I'm going to turn it over to Jill because Jill is really a great representative and she has all the information.
Yeah, so the existing funds are not being addressed at this point in time. They will stand. It was just the extra funds, and it was determined through our county council that actually AB 109 funds are not a usable fund source for that program that they were asking for increased funding for. There is a nexus for the existing funding because there is some correlation between those in our criminal justice system and immigration. So there is a nexus there, but for the extra funding, for the outreach to those people who are not within the criminal justice system, there was no nexus, and therefore AB 109 statutorily cannot be used. So Supervisor Anderson suggested that they perhaps might want to consider creating a nonprofit, so that way they can be open to collecting more funds from other foundations and grant opportunities. And a greater discussion will be had at the budget hearings next spring.
Thank you, Jill. Are there any other comments on any item or that's under the jurisdiction of the Community Advisory Board and not on this agenda? Hearing none, we'll move to the approval of the minutes from August 26, 2020, CAB Policy and Budget Subcommittee meeting, and that's attachment 1. And Monique, could you scroll through that for us? Thank you.
This is Lila, and I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from last month, if that works for you, Ozzy.
I'll second.
There's been a motion made for approval by Lila Blanchard and second by Julius Van Hook and Monique. Can you,
Okay. You want to probably see if there are any comments.
are there any comments?
Okay, I can do a roll call on the vote now.
Thank you.
So Ozzy,
Aye.
Lila,
Aye.
and Reverend Van Hook. Reverend Van Hook, can you hear me?
Oh, I said aye, I'm
You
sorry.
said
Oh,
aye.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay. So motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Moving to the next item on our agenda. We are extremely honored to have a presentation on Fair Chance Act by Charles Brown III from Business Services, a business services representative and re-entry coordinator for the Contra Costa County Workforce Development Board. I will turn the meeting over to Mr. Brown.
Charles, would you like me to present the slideshow?
Yes, I was gonna ask you that.
Okay,
I have it prepared, but I should be able to see my notes, right? And then
no, I don't think I have your notes there. So if you want to use your notes as I progress through the slide, how's that?
I
That
guess,
work?
I'm not sure. Because we're speaking about technology right here, right? So,
Yeah, so I mean, if you have your notes with you, you can review each slide with your notes on it.
okay,
And then I can progress as we move forward, if that's okay.
yeah. So I don't have physical notes because I have it as part of the screen. So I'll go ahead and share and see if that works.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, and you're
Okay,
allowing me.
let me stop sharing.
Okay,
Okay,
and I'm able to share?
yes, you should be able to share.
Okay, let me go ahead and host disabled participant screen share. Okay.
Oh, does it say that?
Yeah, it says disabled.
Okay, let me, okay, see if it'll work now, please.
Okay. Yes,
Okay,
it's
All right.
working.
okay,
And all right.
here, let me move.
All right, let me just check something. Yeah. Okay. All right, so you guys can see the first slide there, right?
Yes,
Okay.
You can see it with your notes, just FYI. I don't know if you want to go into presentation screen, and I'm not sure if that will eliminate your notes or if your notes stay on the left when you do this.
Yeah, let me try that.
You're in presentation now. We can see the slide better.
Okay, and
are you able to see your notes while you're in presentation, Charles?
yes,
Okay, good.
I'm just trying to minimize. Yeah. Okay, so I am ready to go.
Okay,
All right. First, I want to just say thank you for inviting me to present to the CAB Policy and Budget Committee on behalf of the Workforce Development Board of Contra Costa County. Again, I am a business service representative and reentry coordinator I've been working with the AB 109 initiative since 2014, just to give you some history. And been a consistent member of the public as far as, collaborating with the various partners here in the AB 109 partnership. So I'm very happy to be here. So the first thing I just want to speak about, we're going to talk about some background information on the Workforce Board, discuss our various events in the community as it relates to AB 109 and reentry work in general. And then we'll get into the Fair Chance Act, and we'll talk about livable wages for justice involved individuals, and then we'll be done. Is there a certain amount of time that I have, Monique? I want to be cognizant of that. Can you hear me?
It looks like Monique stepped away.
Okay, so I was just, okay, that's fine. I just want to, I know there's other agenda items there after my presentation, and so I just want to be cognizant, but it shouldn't take too long. And we'll have an opportunity for a Q&A session and what have you.
That's fine. We're not going to really restrict you as long as it's within a substantial time frame. Feel free.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. All right, great. So achieving equity is a priority for the Workforce Development Board. We're very cognizant of our economy and what it looks like here in Contra Costa County. And we want to make a concerted effort to emphasize that to our constituents out in the community. Equitable economic growth for Contra Costa County through innovative and sustainable solutions is something that we really work hard at. And we want things to be fair across the board when it comes to hiring practices, wages, interviewing opportunities, and those things. I'll go to the next slide. And just want to say this, the Workforce Development Board in general exists to promote a workforce development system that meets the needs of businesses, job seekers, and workers in order to sustain a viable economy here in Contra Costa County. So here at the Workforce Board, we oversee a career center system here in the county. We have a partnership with Rubicon Programs, who is our employment and training partners. And so through them, we've been able to expand our career center services in all three regions of the county, East, Central, and West. And we have a system called the Contra Costa Workforce Collaborative, which includes 4 adult schools access points, which is Martinez Adult School, Mount Diablo Adult School, Pittsburgh Adult School, and Liberty Adult School out in Brentwood, Pittsburgh, Concord, and Martinez. And then we also have a few nonprofits, Lao Family Community Development, as well as San Pablo Economic Development Corporation. And then we also have our own site here where Rubicon is stationed. And then they also have Rubicon East County office as well. And we have Opportunity Junction in Antioch. And so those access points are like satellite career centers. And so it's more convenient where it's usually closer to individuals' homes and residences. And so they can access the services that they would access here in Concord. Our Concord Center is considered a comprehensive, career center because of our partnership with the state of California Employment Development Department. And so that being said, our services can be accessed throughout the county. And what we provide in business services, we provide customized recruitment events for employers or companies that's seeking to add talent to their workforce. And so we call these events on-site recruitments. And employers are able to utilize these services as often as they like. Again, all at no cost. This is their tax dollars going to work for them. And so when we coordinate an on-site recruitment, it's all customized for that employer that day. And so they can come in and do a presentation, give an overview on their company, explain their hiring process, discuss their various openings, and then they can break out into on-the-spot interviewing. So it's a streamlined way to help people get employed. This does include various types of employers representing various industries, as well as fair chance employers as well. We also help with marketing and promotion of opportunities and job leads, as well as recruitments. And so many times employers will contact us and ask us if they could, if we could post their job announcements. We have a job board here at the Career Center and all the other centers, but we also market it through our networks, which, for example, the AB 109 partnership on a weekly basis usually receive job announcements and job leads from me on behalf of the Workforce Board. And this is how we provide, assistance to our reentry partners. We provide capacity building and technical assistance. I may speak again on that later on in the presentation. We do provide space for the events. Again, our various conference rooms here and interview rooms is open to our community constituents. And another thing that we've done, and we're looking to bring it back, is the PAC meetings that we used to host prior to the pandemic. And so that's actually going to be coming back next month, actually, first Thursday of next month. And so, again, that's another example of making our space available to the community. All right. We also provide financial assistance and subsidies, such as on-the-job training for our job seekers. And it also benefits employers as well, where we know there's always onboarding costs when employers bring on new employees and things of that nature. And so we have some hiring incentives that we provide to them. Our partners at Rubicon actually puts together the actual agreements and those things. Next here, we also provide assistance with identifying other tax credits for new hires, such as the WOTC, which is an acronym for the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. So there's about 9 categories that will qualify a business for being able to utilize that tax credit. And some of those populations include just as involved, individual with disability, high-risk youth, veterans, just to name a few. And so many times, most of our participants that come through our Career Center would usually qualify a business. And so we have staff to go over that with employers. Another role that I have here at the Workforce Board, I am what we call a rapid response coordinator, and that deals with outplacement services and layoffs. So during the pandemic, we were very busy in this space because there was many companies laying off 50 or more people. And so normally when that does take place by law, they are to notify the local workforce board if they're located in our county, the elected officials, their mayor, as well as the state. And then I'm usually the first point of contact to reach out to the business to let them know that we have resources that we can provide to those impacted employees before their last day of work. And usually when they send out what we call a WARN notice, worker adjustment retraining notice, they have to give a 60-day notice to those impacted employees and to notify the powers to be, which includes us. And then we usually try to do what we call a outplacement services orientation with those employees, whether we can be on site there or we can set up something here at our career center. If they're a union, sometimes we may do it at a union hall. All right, just wanted to share that. And then we have various links to business resources, such as the East Bay Small Business Development Center, where we help businesses expand, as well as get access to capital and other technical services they may need. And so it's a very good resource. So I make a good number of referrals to our East Bay Small Business Development Center. We used to be the host for them for many decades. And so now their new host is Cal State East Bay. And they have the 3 campuses in Hayward, their main campus, Oakland, and here in Concord. And so they provide no cost advice, as well as no cost training in the form of workshops. So it's a very good resource. And then, so businesses not only need help with hiring talent, but they also need other resources. And this is where we provide those various resources, such as OJT, as I mentioned. And also, I just want to say that OJT can provide a maximum payment of $8,000 per employee. So I just wanted to share that. So next, we have prison to employment. And so we have had 1 year of working on the Prison to Employment initiative. Prison to Employment is a corrections workforce partnership agreement designed to strengthen linkages between the state workforce and correction systems in order to improve the process by which the formerly incarcerated and justice involved individuals reenter society and the labor force. So the 2 primary partners in the state for P2E is the California Workforce Development Board, which we come under, as well as the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. The WDBCCC has partnered to provide these services. And so the local Concord Parole Office has been very cooperative in our working relationship. As I stated earlier, we worked together first to host PAC meetings here, which we're going to start again next month. And so, and their office is not too far from us here in Concord. And our first year working on P2E with our partners at Rubicon, we received a total of like 16 referrals from January to March. So that was the last activity that we had. But before that, we actually started, as you see here, between October and March overall. So about 6 months. And our partnership identified 40 candidates that enrolled in Prison to Employment in our Cal job system, which is a state labor exchange database that helps us with our reporting and tracking. 13% of them are currently employed. And so I also want to share that 2 of our participants actually went through our commercial driving license training with Michael's Transportation, which is one of our champion employers and training providers. And that's one of our priority industry sectors as well, which is transportation logistics, which is very fair chance friendly, I may add. Also, the regional P2E services was completed and closed in March of this year. And I'm happy to say last month in August, the regional partnership has submitted a new P2E application for a second round of Prison to Employment funding. And so we're looking forward to expanding these services soon, and we are confident that we would be able to get funded again. And what we do as a region, we use our other three workforce development boards that we work with, which is Alameda County Workforce Development Board, the City of Oakland, and the City of Richmond Workforce Development Boards. And together we go after various funding opportunities such as prison to employment. Alameda County Workforce Board is the lead on this project. Each project has a different lead, but we all share in the funding and collaborate. So next, I want to speak about a recent event that we had, our 2022 Spring Career Fair event, which was held here in our Concord Career Center. Very nice event. Prior to the event, we had 500 job seekers who actually registered through Eventbrite. And so we got a very good response. There were actually over 400 job seekers that actually attended the event. That also included walk-ins. I think we had about 150 something walk-ins. And so those are unregistered job seekers. Very good turnout. There were 22 employers and 7 resource providers that actually participated in the event. We actually had our EHSD media department cover the event, and they were able to bring out CBS to provide an article and context on it. I can see if I can play a brief link about it. Let's try that. If not, we'll move on. But I will say this also, that the majority of the participating employers, about 15 of them at the event, were fair chance employers. And so we make a concerted effort to have a diversity of employers, but also to make sure that we do have fair chance employers at each of our events. Let's see if I can play the video here. All right. Let's see if it will allow it to play. Doesn't look like it. Okay. No. All right, so kind of get out of that and get back to the PowerPoint. All right. Go and play, it's fine. And some information I can also send you, you guys, specific committee, where you can review on your own. You know, the video, and we also have some other fair chance information that I didn't include in the PowerPoint that I will be able to share. But as you can see, we had a good number of different employers. Our own probation department for Contra Costa County participated. We had our Contra Costa Reentry Network, Health Right 360, as partners who also participated. All right, move on to the next slide. And these are some pictures from the event. So we had some canopies out there. It was pretty hot that day. And so we had crowd control information being provided to individuals as they entered into our career center. From the outside, we had resume review, where job seekers had the opportunity to get professional feedback on their resumes. And then we also had rooms flow. We had, again, crowd control on the inside. Our 3 conference rooms is what we utilize in one of our open spaces at the Career Center, where we had our exhibitors set up their tables and everything, and had job seekers, only so many at a time. So we were using our walkie-talkies and things of that nature to control the crowd, but everyone had the opportunity to navigate through our career fair, which is nice. We have a few more pictures here. As you can see, it's a lot of people. That's me there. Very good turnout. Caltrans, which is a state agency, is one of our fair chance employers. And of course, they're a union. They actually had 4 departments there, so we had to provide 2 tables for them. And you see Mr. Pitts from the Reentry Network there. So very good turnout. just wanted to share these pictures here with you.
Charles, I was able to put the link in the chat if you want to share that video.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be nice. Let's go back to that. Thank you.
You can click on it and it should display because you're
You've got to
sharing.
try Kachava.
Yeah.
Kachava is the world's health.
It's the latest job numbers show the Bay Area and California are slowly recovering from the pandemic. The Bay Area added 6,900 jobs.
So we don't see it, Charles. We hear it though.
83,000
Oh,
jobs.
sorry.
Many different
I'm not sure.
Let's
employers
see.
have dealt with staffing.
Maybe if you share
They struggle to
again.
hire workers, but in Contra Costa
Yeah.
County today, our match
and click on that video.
game is
Okay.
starting to change.
Let me go back.
A job fair in Contra Costa.
In the Zoom settings, when you select share down below, there's also a piece that says share media and share sound.
At the Contra Costa
down at the
County
bottom.
Human Services Job Fair today. Like Benaya Israel
Got a family, 2 boys, a wife.
I'm
from
sorry.
Stockton,
Let's
who's
see.
been unemployed since February.
It's been real hard, you know. I came all the way out here, you know, about an hour away to look for jobs.
He was just one player of the positively puzzling job fair. Organizers expected around 100 people to sign up, but 500 did, considering over.
Okay.
Would you like me to try to share it, Charles?
Yeah, if that's
Okay.
possible.
Yeah, I should be able to share it. Let me click on it, pause it. And then let's see if I can share it. Okay, so you all can see this YouTube screen, right? Okay, so I'll go ahead and click on it and hopefully we can hear it.
Yeah, if you get started over. Yeah.
Okay, started from the beginning.
Okay.
Can you guys hear it though?
No, I don't hear it.
We cannot hear it.
Okay. So I can't hear it
Oh,
either.
let's see. There's a.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, right there on the bottom. There you go.
Okay, here we go.
No, you still
Still
can't.
can't hear it.
You still can't hear it? Oh. Okay, I can hear it though. So,
I know it's technology, I tell you.
yeah, so I guess everyone can look at it on their own. It's
Yeah,
in the
that
chat,
work.
so,
Yes.
okay, I'm gonna stop sharing now.
Okay. Thanks for
Sorry.
your efforts, though. It's much appreciated.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, so let me go back to sharing. Okay. All right. So enjoy the video at your own leisure. Again, thank you, Monique, for that. Very good footage there. You guys enjoy it. And then our own EHSD department also did like an article on us as well about the event. And so this event actually may be featured as a flagship example to the state. And so it's something that we're working on. So it's pretty good turnout, a lot of good feedback. So I wanted to bring up our next event, which I mentioned earlier in the announcements. We have an event coming up next Wednesday, September 28th at the Antioch Community Center. This is going to be our 2022 East County Fall Career Fair. We're very excited. Actually, right now, we have about 240 job seekers who is currently registered for the event through Eventbrite. And usually the closer we get to the event, the more, job seekers actually register for the event, which is great. We hope that's a sign for more people wanting to go back to work. Also, there's going to be a radio campaign for about 5 radio stations that one of our sponsoring partners, the San Francisco Urban League of the Bay Area, they're going to be running it starting on Saturday all the way up into the event. So we have a lot of different marketing outreach going on. We have a contracted marketing company that we work with on a consistent basis. They actually helped us with the previous event. So a lot of outreach, and of course our own efforts, social media pages, everything. We're getting the word out. There's going to be over 30 plus employers and 16 resource providers that's going to be participating as exhibitors at the event. About half of those registered employers, I would say around 14 or so, are fair chance employers. Okay.
Charles, the view that you have, I'm sorry to interrupt, this is Lila, is showing your next slide in your notes, so it's a little bit hard to see. If you can change the display settings to slideshow.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me bring that back.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome, no problem at all. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Did I do it again? Let me see, one more thing, wait a minute.
It still looks good on our end.
It looks good on your end, okay. So my colleague was sharing with me that I can use what we call a presenter view. And so that means that unless it can be expanded, let me try something else. Because you're saying you guys can see my notes on this part?
Not anymore. It looks good now, yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, so it's working. Okay. So I had to go one more step. All right. Okay, so this is the event that's coming up, and hopefully you guys can have your participants attend, and you as well. We plan to provide lunch for our job seekers as well as our employers. We got sponsorship through Chevron, one of our board members, so we're pretty excited about that. All right. So just wanted to give some history on events that the Workforce Board have hosted in the reentry space. So we've actually hosted 3 Fair Chance summit events going back to 2017. So we hosted one in each region of the county. So our very first one was in Pleasant Hill, where we had 155 people attend. We had 50 employers and 30 plus CBO nonprofit partners. And then we also have a Fair Chance Business Pledge, which is what I will send to you guys, that we're able to ask employers to sign as their way of committing to being a Fair Chance employer. So this was initially back here when we utilized the services of Root and Rebound to help us form this document, as we know as the Fair Chance Business Pledge. And so we got 18 employers to sign that at the event, which was great. And we still have it today, and we're still able to use it as we see needed. And so we did 3 of these events. Our second event was in West County in the city of El Cerrito. And then our third event was in East County in Antioch. And, for both of those events, we got 6 and 7 employers to sign the Fair Chance Business Pledge. And outside of these events, we are still able to get employers interested in signing. And especially now in today's market, we're getting a good number of calls on, employers seeking to find talent and things of that nature. And so usually when I get a call and, for example, employers say, Mr. Brown, I have 80 openings. Can you help me? Love to help you. Are you willing to be flexible? And that's my opportunity to talk to them about being a Fair Chance employer if they're not already, or being flexible in their hiring processes, which we'll talk about in the next couple of slides. But I just wanted to share some history of events that we shared in the space of reentry, engaging employers and everyone, introducing both novice employers and our champion employers. And so it's an opportunity for them to, network and learn from one another. And then we would always also feature panels of our champion employers where we have a Q&A session and have a moderator and those things, and to have like other HR professionals or recruiters, business owners, be able to ask questions and learn from employers who consistently work with us and benefit from working with us. Okay, next, this is our record charge as our relationship to AB 109. So the Workforce Board, main objective in the reentry spaces to provide capacity building and technical assistance to our reentry partners. So any one of you could, of course, reach out to us and we can provide any kind of support that's needed. For example, if there's any reentry or fair chance focused career fairs you like to host, we can assist you with industry leaders, providing employers and businesses to participate, as this is part of what we do on a monthly, a day-to-day basis. We also, of course, share fair chance employer job openings with our AB 109 partners on a weekly basis, as I stated earlier. So there's consistent emails of announcements. I'm quite sure some of you can attest to that. And so we'll continue to do that. That's the way of supporting AB 109 partners. We also maintain a database of about 546 fair chance employers. And so one of my tasks is to identify fair chance employers and educate them. And so when I do identify them, if they are willing to consider interviewing and hiring just as involved individuals, I identify them. And I report that on our AB 109 semi-annual reports as well. So that's one of the main data points that I report on, fair chance employers. And as I stated earlier, we can help with fair chance job fairs. I would say in the past, we participated in 3 to 4 in custody job fairs, not only locally, but also regionally. And so we work closely with our Sheriff's Department, as well as our County Office of Education to co-sponsor and support, as well as participate and have employers there at West County, Marsh Creek, as well as Santa Rita in Alameda County. And so we haven't done that in a while. And then we also participate with a program at San Quentin State Prison, where they have a job readiness workshop. It's about 10 to 12 weeks or so. And so we get a chance to introduce our services and also help them with mock interviews. And so something the Workforce Board has done on an annual basis. The last time we did it was in 2019, prior to the pandemic. We also support AB 109 partners participant referrals to our WEOR program. And so I get these calls at times where some of the partners want to make referrals. And so I have a step-by-step process on what they need to do. And also I invite the partners, the counselors, the representatives of those participants to attend our WEOR orientation. WEOR, again, is an acronym for Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. It's the federal act through the U.S. Department of Labor, which we're funded through as a workforce board. We're able to provide training. We actually train people in the trades. And so we have 5 priority industry sectors, and we have some subsets of those. So we have construction, we have ICT, information communication technology, basically IT. We also have advanced manufacturing because of the refineries we have in our county. We also have healthcare, and we also have energy. And a subset of advanced manufacturing is welding. And we can also look at things on a case-by-case basis if they're not one of the priority sectors, as long as there's high growth career opportunities. And our one regional priority industry sector is our transportation logistics industry, where we help train professional Class A or Class B drivers, as well as on the warehouse side of that, we help train certified forklift operators. So these are the things that we do within our partners at Rubicon. They operate our career center. They facilitate the orientations. They provide the case management and the coaching and those things for us. So we have great partnership there. All right, so we're going to talk about the Fair Chance Act. What is the Fair Chance Act? It's basically a law which went into effect on January 1st, 2018. A California law that prohibits employers of more than 5 employees from asking about the conviction history of an applicant before making a job offer. And this type of law is also known as ban the box, which a lot of us are familiar with. I do want to also add, and I can also share this with you, it's not in a PowerPoint presentation today, but I also want to say that Contra Costa County is one of the largest employers in the county, next to our healthcare employers. Aside from, our law enforcement positions, such as in probation or sheriff's department or attorneys and things of that nature, we actually, in Contra Costa County, our HR department does utilize AB 1008, which is basically the ban the box assembly bill for California. So what does that mean? That means that when people apply for county positions here, again, non-law enforcement, but any other position, they're allowed to go through the process. The county actually modified their applications to not ask those questions. And they're able to go through the interview process, get ranked on the certification list. And then the background check is done actually after a job offer is made. And they will look at that on a case-by-case basis. So I just wanted to inform you guys that our county itself actually utilizes ban the box for the most part, which is great. And our county probation department, I know they're working on some positions that's going to be fair chance. I was actually speaking with Jeff Waters, one of their directors, who most of us know, yesterday. They've been very active in participating in career fairs with us as well. And so they're going to be participating at the upcoming event, as well as the event we had a few months ago. They were there. So it's good to see that, as well as our HR department. So more information on AB 1008, it bars employers from asking about criminal history before a job offer has been made, which I just gave the example for the county. It is unlawful for employers to ask for criminal information from an applicant pursuant to ban the box laws. This means that it is unlawful for any California employer to include on an application for employment any question that seeks the disclosure of an applicant's criminal history. In the state of California, criminal convictions can only be reported for 7 years unless another law requires employers to look deeper into one's background. All right, next we want to talk about wages. And so we know here in the Bay Area overall, the cost of living is pretty expensive, but we do have some competitive wages, and that's what we focus on at the Workforce Board, is developing competitive wages when we're talking to employers. And sometimes some employers have some challenges with that, and that could be a reason why they're having a challenge in bringing on new employees, or sometimes they may even hire them, but they don't stay on too long. So they have a high turnover ratio because of non-competitive wages. So I will say justice involved individuals upon release from incarceration are earning competitive wages here in our county and surrounding areas, from like $23.72 to $24.65 as warehouse workers in the Bay Area labor market, as an example. And again, that represents one of our priority industry sectors. Justice involved individuals upon release from incarceration are earning competitive wages at $30 an hour as commercial drivers in the Bay Area labor market. And keep in mind, these are starting wages. These can actually increase, of course, if they're part of a union or they have different steps in their classification. And so this helps, sustain individuals. Some of the participants that the AB 109 partners have direct relationships with, some could be single, some can have families, and we know that, there's a lot of responsibility in the household. And so it's very important to have competitive wages. Now, I will say this, one of the things the Workforce Board provides for our justice involved individuals is training, but it is a commitment, right? So we provide both employment and training. So some people may come into WEO and they just only want the employment side, and that's fine. They can still get enrolled in WEO and we can help them find work. But we give them more of a competitive opportunity if we can get them a credential, a certification license in a high growth industry sector such as transportation logistics, as you see in this example here. And so we want them to sustain, because many times, some may start with a job and then they may be right back to square one for one reason or the other. And so we want to try to help sustain them with some competitive credentials. And then we also have workers who's in the marketplace that come to our career centers looking for a better opportunity. And so we're here for the public. So we work with them all. And so I just listed my references where this information was obtained, which was through Indeed.com, also through our own Contra Costa Reentry Network, Health Right 360, as well as our employer and training champion, Michael's Transportation MTS, just to give it context. Okay, so we're getting ready to end. Just wanted to introduce our business services team. Patience Ofoto is our business services manager. She's my direct supervisor, as well as my colleague, Patricia Conley. She's also a business services representative here that works with us. And so together we provide business services for the county and work very closely with our partners. And with that, we end. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer. Hopefully I didn't take too much time on Monique and everyone.
You did a great job, Charles. I just want to provide a time check for the board, though. So it's 11:35, and obviously we appreciate Charles and his presentation, and you likely have questions and comments for him, but that means that we likely won't be able to attend to all of the items on the agenda, but I can provide an update when you're done with the question and answer period. So.
Okay, that sounds.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
Okay, but if they have questions, they certainly can. It looks like Lila has a question.
Thank you for the presentation, Charles. I was curious if you know, or you could speak to labor market information, and if there is labor market information that comes through the state that is reflective of folks who are in reentry. I don't remember that being one of the categories, and I don't think that that's in CalJobs either. But if you could speak to the labor market information that comes from the state, and if there's reentry information in there.
Okay, good question, Lila. And of course, EDD is co-located with us here in our Concord Career Center. and they do have a designated LMI specialist who we do receive information from on a consistent basis. And that was a question that I actually posed to them as well, Lila, was asking about, data points in LMI as it relates to justice involved individuals. Their system does not provide that, as you stated. However, there is some partners who have done studies who we worked with in the past, such as Root and Rebound. And Root and Rebound is the organization that actually helped us put together our Fair Chance Business Pledge. They're a staff of attorneys. And so for that kind of information and in my research, I've reached out to them and to inquire on that type of information. So as you've seen in my next to last slide, I reached out to some actual individuals in our county who could provide realistic data points, such as our reentry network. And also I'm waiting on some information from a couple of sources still that's going to provide more detailed information. But I did reach out to our LMI specialists at EDD to see if they had anything in that space, and they did not. But I am going to be obtaining information from your colleague, Glorabelle, who we work closely with. And so that's going to be helpful. And as you've seen with the Indeed reference, that just highlights our priority industry sectors that because not only do we look to identify fair chance employers, but also we look to identify fair chance industry sectors as well. So construction, transportation, logistics, a little bit of healthcare, not much, but we have some in that space. And we do have IT fair chance entities as well. Just to name a few, advanced manufacturing is coming on the rise. And that has more to do with opportunities in refineries, as well as welding. And I know those are fair chance opportunities. Matter of fact, we're working on an event where we're going to have our regional advanced manufacturing consultant do some work at Marsh Creek to go present and introduce the opportunities in advanced manufacturing as a viable career for someone coming out of the justice system. Hopefully that answers your question, Lila. But actually, I'll be happy to share with you that information that I'm waiting on in my research. I'm still researching to share that. So anything that I see that's helpful that I did get a chance to present in my slides, I would definitely share with your committee, share with Monique, and she can distribute it out to you all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to thank you, Charles, for the presentation. It was very, very, very informative. I just really learned a lot. And there's a lot of questions that I had prior to you getting into some of your statistics where you answered. One of them was how many partners you had, but you answered there was over 546 fair chance employers. And I guess it's the number is going up. I also heard you mention that you were servicing veterans and those disabled. So my question is relative around data and keeping track of the various demographics. Is that something that your workforce? I heard that there's a conglomerate of workforce developments, and that's in Contra Costa County, Alameda County, and
yeah, it's just 2 cities and 2 counties. So we represent the region, and so we have what you call a regional planning unit that we all are part of, the 4 workforce boards in the East Bay region, as well as our regional name as far as our career center system, which is known as East Bay Works. If you ever heard of that, that's us, our system. And so we do a lot of things together in collaboration. We can help people relocate if they need to relocate, because we're primarily funded through U.S. Department of Labor. There's workforce sports nationwide. Some of us come under county government, some come under city government, and some is actually 501c3 nonprofit structured. So, but yeah, each board has their own information for their own area, you know, and so we do have we had a person that was a data specialist within our own agency, but they got promoted, if you will. And so, but that is something we can definitely look into as far as data. I would say our main director at EHSD, who is fairly new with us, Dr. Stewart, she is very high on data. So, so that's a big priority for us, providing data.
And I really appreciate that. One of my concerns is always the population that we're reaching, and also the success rates and job retention, and of those fair chance employers, how many of them are really hiring individuals that are justice impacted, and their success rates. And me being formerly incarcerated, I guess it's kind of like I'm really a stickler for the numbers, because so we can have some metrics for measuring, you know, from the different events that are held, how many really showed up, how many really were polled afterwards as far as their input with how successful they were with their venture. And that just moving forward, I think, and just curious, but I really enjoyed your presentation. There was one other question.
Okay.
You mentioned an $8,000 dollar amount. Is monies from a tax credit that goes to individual employers who do participate and hire those individuals from that marginalized community?
Yes. So if you want Ozzy on your own, if you Google WOTC, WOTC at your leisure, you will see the category of individuals that would qualify the business, but also it will show the amounts that one can get up to. I had mentioned for our OJT program, which is something that we actually pay out to an employer, you know, in the first couple of months of employment. And so we pay that through our county fiscal department. And so our partners at Rubicon sets up the agreements and they get everything signed and it goes in for processing. And so that's something that we do as like a wage reimbursement type of program, which is different than our tax credits. The tax credits is separate, but we like to bring awareness to the businesses about those if they work with our system.
Could you tell me what the acronyms WOTC stand for?
Yes, Work Opportunity Tax Credit.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I must say that was a lot of good information, and I'm really was impressed at how thorough everything was, and learned quite a bit. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reverend Van Hook. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, sir.
Now, see Crawford, he was so happy to talk to me before. I'm hearing that from him today. I don't understand.
Charles, yes, we had a conversation, but I'm a fly on the wall. This is Ozzy's committee, and I am just so pleased just to sit here and listen and
Yes,
commend you. Hey, well done, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
And if any of you guys want to speak with me one-on-one or want to have a meeting with me where we can get into more details, I'll be happy to offer that to each and every one of you at your convenience.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And would you be willing to put your information in the chat? Your
Yes.
contact information? Thank you.
Yeah, sorry if my slide went too fast, but yeah, I can do that. No problem at all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Ozzy, it is 11:47. So, you know, it's up to you how you'd like to proceed with the work plan, with the charter, and with your report out, and next steps as well. So we have all of those items still. If you want, I mean, the work plan, I can answer Lila's question about the budget now, which is part of your work plan. So I spoke to Patrice and she said that we can certainly come up with a plan on the budget at the agenda planning meeting, which is on Monday, which Lila, you will likely be there. So, and Nicole will be there, because Nicole has been talking about different things with the budget. So you all will be at the agenda planning on Monday, so we can address that as far as getting it on the agenda for next month. And then the charter is something that we've been talking about, so that is something you can look at your leisure. It really is a matter of, Crawford has done a great job of presenting it, bringing it before the bodies to ensure that it's still relevant. And that if you all want to change something or even have questions about it. So that is something that you can do on your own. I just put it on the agenda. And then Ozzy, I don't know if you have an update on the R job, or was it canceled? I'm not really sure.
Actually, that meeting was canceled until
Okay.
October.
Okay, so that, so it really is up to you, Ozzy, how you want to proceed with the work plan and
I think since
next steps too, so.
well, that's a big task ahead of us, looking at the work plan. We have a couple of board members that are not here to actually report out.
Mhm.
If it's feasible, I would like to table the remainder of our agenda until our next subcommittee meeting,
Okay,
if that's okay, and thank Mr. Brown for his presentation and thanking all of the individuals present, our board members, and adjourn.
May I ask a quick question, please, Ozzy? We have let me get permission first. May I have permission, Ozzy, with a question?
Of course.
Oh, okay. Well, it's your committee. We have the charter, and I know you didn't have a chance to get through it. I'll be meeting with some other people where we're really making some progress. And one committee's already looked at it and approved it. Since you didn't have a chance to address it, Monique, would you be kind enough to send a note to each of these individuals so that we are in compliance with the Brown Act? Not you, Charles, but the Brown Act, and give them just like a due date of a week or so. And then if we don't hear anything, we will then assume you are in concert with the current charter, and then we can move forward, because we've got several steps and we just don't want to keep waiting and waiting. We want to then be able to get our document together and then get to a valued source who will look at it. Then we got to get to Monique and Patrice. Then we got to come back to the board as a group. And then finally, if they approve it, we got to get to the county legal department. So we have several steps. We want to do it slowly, but we just don't want to drag it out too long. So thank you, Ozzy.
okay, I can definitely send it out. I'll blind copy it, each person, and ask for their input on it.
And just to let folks know, I don't have any input on it. It looks good to me. So thank you.
Okay,
And I reviewed it as well, and it looked good to me. I guess though we could have discussion on it. But that's past tense. Correct, if I adjourn the meeting. But thank you, Crawford. You know, this is not the hat that I like to wear, okay? I'll just go. So forgive me for our visitors.
You're doing a great job, Ozzy.
Okay, so Monique, am I official now?
Yes, I guess yeah, you're
If no-
official unless anyone else has questions or comments overall. I mean, we didn't really talk about next steps, but certainly the next step would be about the budget. We'll talk about that at the agenda planning meeting on Monday. And maybe any other items, you know, we'll talk to Nicole, the chair. And then certainly the members are welcome to suggest next steps as well. So, but I guess due to the time constraint of today, you know, people can email me and I can provide that information to Nicole on Monday, or you can email Nicole directly. So it really is up to you all as board members, how you'd like to provide any next steps that you may have, other than the budget, which we have to work on that.
It sounds like Ozzy wanted us to take a look at the work plan at next meeting as well. Was there anything else from this agenda that's rolling over?
I think it's just the budget, the charter. If anybody has anything on the charter, when I send it out, you know, I'll be able to give Crawford an update on responses. And then we don't have to put the charter on anymore, right? And then we have the work plan, which we have different people assigned to different things. And there aren't any updates unless, do you have any updates on the work plan, Lila? I mean, you may not, or it may be some of the work that you all have been doing.
You know, I don't at this time. So yeah, so on the work plan, the one that I was assigned to be responsible for, along with others, is identify gaps in Contra Costa County's criminal justice system to CAB, the support policy statement, or CAB stance on racial and gender issues. And then the expected outcome is collaborate with programs and services subcommittee to identify new services and establish an equity focus, specific populations in an equity focus on specific populations in greatest need. So I feel like there's still lots of work to be done. I mean, that's what I'm, you know, curious about. Do we have any changes in funding that we want to recommend? I don't know that we've started to have that conversation recently in this subcommittee. I will say, let's see, that we did put out our recommendations, which, you know, have different, you know, policy pieces, and, you know, Crawford was there. I think it looked like the whole CAB attended that meeting. I don't know if we were breaking, I guess if we don't participate in the meeting, we're not breaking, you know, the protocol with how many of us can be in a meeting without it being a meeting of the CAB. But, you know, we did make those presentations of recommendations. And so I think it's more specifics would be great. I just don't know if they're going to be produced this program year, and we'll see how the conversation about, you know, the budget that we put forward goes. Any questions?
We could certainly talk about that at the agenda planning, but I think we didn't break the Brown Act. because I think there were only 2 or 3 people that spoke. And I did confirm with Patrice on that day.
Good, so we can be silent observers in meetings, but if active participants, we can't have 7 or more.
Right, so I think it was
Okay.
3 people could have spoken, and I don't think 3 CAB members spoke that day. So,
Okay, thank you. And the 3 CAB members could have spoken because that would have been quorum for one of our subcommittees.
I don't know that, but that does sound like that might be correct, right? I didn't ask Patrice about the number 3, but she did say up to 3 people could speak. But that sounds like that makes total sense to me. But I can confirm that as well. We could talk about it at the agenda planning meeting, because I'm sure you all will be attending more meetings and with input. So,
And
under the
Monique, I'm
direction
sorry,
of your chair.
when did you say that agenda
It's
plan?
on Monday. It's on Monday, I think at 1 o'clock is our agenda planning meeting.
Got it. If you could forward me that invite, I'm not sure that I'll be able to attend. Sorry to go into business
Okay,
here.
no
but,
worries. You could provide any input that you like. So, okay. And we can meet one-on-one if you want to meet one-on-one, and I can give you an update. So, okay, so Ozzy, we have 2 minutes. It's 11:58.
Are there any other additional comments, inquiries, or items for next step?
Again, everyone, I just want to thank you for allowing the Workforce Development Board of Contra Costa County to present to you today. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
And we thank you for your informative presentation and taking the time out of your day to be with us on a Friday. And without further ado, I would like to adjourn this meeting.
Thank you, Ozzy. Bye, everybody.
Have a great weekend, everyone.